I think that first of all, I mean, you get actors to go to these places because you're treating them as dramatic scenes. You're treating them. I mean, once you get over the the parameters of what they're comfortable showing and what they're, once that's all settled and once you choreograph it, then it's all about the minds. It's all about what's going on, and that's what charges the actors. It is the fact that it's a reconciliation of their fantasy with the reality of that moment, and often, as in many of my films, there's a degree of repression where someone is trying to understand something about themselves through the erotic experience, and create a degree of intimacy not only with the other person but with their own sense of who they are. So that's really complex, and you have to be able to understand that that's what the actor is hoping to hit. It's not a scene. It's not a sexual scene. It's genuinely a scene about this fulfilling of an expectation, both in their own fantasy and what the other person is offering, or rejecting, or filtering, or there's so many different ways in which we express desire, and it's an essential part of our lives. It's how we construct ourselves, and yet it's not very often dealt with in films. And that's where, again, I was so inspired by Bergman. I mean, who can forget? I mean, this film actually has an interesting, now that I'm saying Bergman, there's an interesting kind of parallel to Persona and the relationship between the two women and the storytelling. I'm just thinking now of the scene with Bibi Andersson where she gives the monologue of the orgy on the beach to Liv Ullmann, and I remember that was one of the most powerful things, most erotic things I've ever heard, and again, it's the eroticism of storytelling, and why does she tell that story? Well, it's because of Liv Ullmann's silence, right? And she doesn't know how Liv Ullmann is. Yeah, actually, that's a pretty important film for this movie. I hadn't thought about it before, but I think it's one of the things that makes this so attractive to me. Why is someone listening so intently? And you can't help but feel it's because they're connected to you. But that may not be the case, as certainly, this is the tragedy of Chloe, I think, is that she totally misreads, and yet you understand why.